Hey guys, welcome to North Star Knife Reviews. A little open tag for you here today. If you had to buy one knife for somebody who doesn't normally carry a knife, what would you buy? Now, I know that the final answer is going to depend on a lot of different factors, who the person is, where they work, what sort of needs they have, what the laws are in their jurisdiction, what you think they might be comfortable with. So I get that, okay? And then there are about 100 different ways you could go with this, okay? But what I would like is just pick one knife. And it doesn't have to be the perfect knife. It's not something that's necessarily going to fit everybody, but one knife that would be one that you might give to somebody who doesn't normally carry a knife. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's a cousin, somebody who asks to borrow your knife pretty regularly. What would you give them? Now, maybe you'd go with a little Stockman, something like this. Maybe you'd go with something a little more modern, something like this Ganzo, which is a imitation of like a Spyderco, okay? Another thing maybe you think about is, are they going to want something that fits all the way down in their pocket, or are they going to be comfortable having something with a pocket clip that might have some of it showing, okay? All of these things are stuff you're going to have to deal with. So we're dealing with just the hypothetical person here, knowing that, what you would really get is going to be dependent on who the person is. But for me, one knife that, actually this is what made me think of it, is I was using my Opinel today and I was like, this is a knife that just, I think would be good for a lot of people. And, I'm sure many of you have Opinels. This is the one that I carry most often. I've got a dozen of them, various styles and sizes. But I think an Opinel would be a good knife for somebody who doesn't normally carry a knife. Somebody maybe who's never carried one, but you're thinking, gosh, they could really use it so they don't have to borrow mine all the time. And I started thinking about some criteria. Why would I pick this knife? What am I looking for? Couple things that I thought about. First, I want something that's probably less than 25 bucks, because if it's somebody who doesn't normally carry a knife, I don't know if they're really going to carry it after I give it to them. I don't know if they're going to like it. I don't want to spend, 250 bucks on a knife to give somebody if I don't know they're going to carry it. I don't want to spend 250 bucks on a knife anyway, quite honestly. But, I want it to be relatively inexpensive. I also wanted it to be, to have a stainless steel blade. I have nothing against carbon, and you can get the Opinels in carbon or stainless. This one is a number 8, and it happens to be stainless. Inox, which is short for inoxydable, which is stainless in French. So you can get it in stainless. And I think that that's a good idea for somebody who has never really carried a knife. You don't want to give them something they don't clean it quite right, and the next time they pull it out, it's covered in rust, okay? Because then they're probably just going to chuck it. Also wanted something that wasn't overly aggressive, just because, some people might not want that. Now, hey, maybe there's that person out there who would love the zombie-killing Rambo knife, even if they've never carried one before. That's fine. But for a lot of people who don't carry a knife, they probably want something that's a little more subdued, and that led me to traditional style knives. Now, certainly this might work as well, but I've always really loved the look of Opinels. I think they're just a classic. And even though they've got, I suppose one could see this as a somewhat aggressive blade, just the old-fashioned styling, they don't seem aggressive. I also wanted to have something that had the option of a locking mechanism. And this has the little collar lock on it, vibro lock, I believe it's called. So that's something. Now, this is a number 8, might be a little big for some people. Maybe you want to give them a 7 or a 6. If you get down to a 5, it won't have the lock. So if they can't have a lock, maybe that's where you want to go. If they got really big hands, maybe you go with a 9 or something like that. Another thing I do like about this knife is that if you've given it a little practice, you can open these one-handed, and close them one-handed. You don't need two hands. Now this one is fairly loose because it's relatively dry right now, but if you were in a humid area, the wood might swell, but you could still open it. You can do the little open L tap where you tap it, it pops it out a little bit, and then you can pull it up with one hand. All right, so I thought that would be potentially useful as well. Now again, this isn't going to be for everyone, but it strikes me that this might be a good option if you're getting a knife for somebody who's never carried a knife before. Now I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about an adult who's never carried a knife. Kids, there might be other criteria that play into it as well. But for the adult, probably not going to give them, even though I love Moras, probably not going to give them a Mora because a fixed blade's maybe not the knife that most people are going to carry if they've never done it before. All right, so this would be my choice, or at least one of my choices. So I'm going to ask you guys out there, you other guys with channels, pick one knife that you would give to somebody who's never carried a knife before. What criteria did you use? Why are you picking that knife? And I'm hoping maybe we'll have half a dozen people who pick this up, and we can get some ideas about that might help people if they're looking for a knife for somebody. All right. So again, the up and L. This is the number 8, but you can certainly pick a different size. I think it would make a good knife for somebody who hasn't normally carried a knife. If you disagree, that's fine. Okay. There's no answer to this. It's just this is a possibility. All right. Open tag. If you guys want to pick it up and run with it, please do. If not, that's cool too. You do you. Have a good day, and I will catch you next time.